Test 1, 2. 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 Test 1, 2.
Fourth and playing first base, number 15, Emmett Rose. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 23, Corbin Laville. Batting sixth and playing left field, number 20, Logan Gillespie. Batting seventh and playing center field, number 11, Riley Webster. Batting eighth and pitching, number 21, Boston Peterson. Batting ninth and playing right field, number 26, Ryan Taylor. And the reserves for the Pheasants are number 0, Kate Wheeler. The coaches for the Pheasants are Thad Cotton, Steve Webster, and Ken Longman. And now your starting lineup for the Sioux Falls Chargers. Leading off and playing center field, number 4, Kate Connell. Batting second, playing third base, number 14, Hayden Dorsett. Batting third and playing first base, number 20, Pete Sink. Batting fourth and catching, number 12, Dylan Connect. Batting fifth and on the mound for the Chargers, number 24, Jake Humble. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 3, Trey Hager. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, number 10, Will Heath. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 21, Jackson McCauley. Batting ninth and playing second base, number 13, Hayden Coulterman. And playing right field for the Chargers, number 16, Zach Vanderhaar. The reserves for the Chargers, number 1, Liam Beekman. Number 7, Brooks Cox. Number 22, Abbott Moeller. Number 25, Harrison Nichols. Number 31, Madison Munson. And number 6, Zach Lefevre. The coaches for the Chargers, head coach Michael Brissett, Connor Hopkins, Steve Collins, Alex Summers, Jeremy Humpel, and Chad Cooper. At this time, we have to continue drive, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the flag located in left field as we honor America in the playing of our national anthem.
All right, we are live here from Ronkin Field tonight as your Sioux Falls Christian Chargers take on the Parker Pheasants. Gorgeous night out here at Ronkin Field. Mid-60s, a little bit of wind blowing out to left. Sun, not a cloud in the sky, so great night for baseball. Way better than last night when I was out here to watch my other son, who plays for Roosevelt, against Lincoln in an utter wind and dust storm. On the mound tonight for your Chargers is Jake Humple. Infield working left to right. Hayden Gorsett at third. Will Foch at short. Caden Coulterman at second. Pete Samp at first. Outfield consists of Zach Vandahar in left. Nope, Zaxon right. Jackson McCulley in left and Tate Connell in center. DK doing the catching as usual. Chargers looking to pick up their third win of the week after being shut out last week. Can't see the number, but the leadoff batter for the Parker Pheasants steps in to face Jake Humple and pumps a strike in there. Swing and a miss for number 10. And that was like a half swing. So Jake way ahead here to the leadoff batter, 0-2. There's a pop, skied high, and that's back and out of play. So we will do 0-2 again. Ooh, way outside there for Jake. Here's the 1-2. Popped up. Going out is Will. Calling him off. Oh, and that's dropped by Jackson McCulley in right, or in left. Will was going out. Jackson was coming in, and that is
Number 7, Christian Charg.
I apologize. That is Zach Vandahar out in left, as Jackson McCulley is in right. So an error to start the game. Runner goes, and it's a strike and no throw down by DK. So runner on second. Base. Jake ahead here, 0-1. Misses outside for ball one. Jake rocks and fires, paints the outside part of the plate. So he is ahead here, 1-2. Misses high and inside. Evens the count here at 2-2. And that is strike 3. And number 7 goes down looking for the pheasants. That will bring up number 5. Batting in the 3 hole for Parker. Misses outside there for ball 1. Rocks and fires over the inside part of the plate to even the count at 1-1. There's a chopper. Glove by Caden. Throws over to first. A little high, but Pete stretches and grabs it. And that is the second out of the inning. The runner does take third as that was chopped to the right side.
The first baseman, number 15, Emmett Rose.
So that'll bring up their cleanup hitter, number 15 here, with 2 out and a runner 90 feet away. Jake paints on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. And that's over the outside part of the plate for strike 2. So Jake a strike away from getting out of this inning. Has looked pretty sharp here in the first inning. In the dirt, good stop by DK as that ball bounces in there. So 1-2 count here. Oh, just missed outside. That's going to even the count here at 2-2. And swing and a miss, and he is down on strikes. And so Jake Humple's second strikeout of the first inning ends it. And we'll head to the bottom of the first, tied at 0. All right. Tate Connell set the lead off here for your Chargers in the first.
Leading off for the Chargers is center fielder number 4, Tate Connell.
So Tate Connell, Hayden Gorsett, and Pete Samp due up here in the first. That's a curveball in there for strike one. Don't think Tate was expecting a curveball to start the game. Foul back into the net. So Tate quickly behind here, 0-2. Ball bounces in there for ball one. There's a swing and a miss, gets away from the catcher. Tate's pretty fast to throw down, and Tate's going to be safe at first.
The third baseman, number 14, Hayden Gorsett.
So Tate strikes out, but beats the throw down to first. So leadoff runner on here in front of Hayden Gorsett. I assume Tate will be at second shortly. And there he goes. It's called a ball. And Tate is in there really easily. So runner in scoring position for Hayden, who's ahead here 1-2, and that ball gets away from the catcher. Tate really couldn't see it, so he holds. And Hayden ahead here 2-0. Tate is standing on third. Shouldn't even throw in that ball. Pitcher was paying no attention whatsoever to Tate as he easily got a walking lead and took third. And that's a walk. So Pete has a couple guys on in front of him.
The first baseman, number 20, Pete Samp.
Oh, and that's behind Pete, and Hayden takes second easily. And Tate scores as they're just not paying attention whatsoever. So that'll give your Chargers a 1-2 lead. There's a ground ball. Ooh, off the pitcher's glove, and that comes back towards home. And that's going to be an infield single for Pete Samp.
The catcher, number 12, Dylan.
So we're back to the runners on the corners here as DK is going to come up. Ball just missed inside. Pete goes. No throw down from the Parker catcher as the pitcher is not doing anything to hold the runners on. So DK here with two runners in scoring position. There's a ground ball. Oh, just foul. As DK just got in front of that one. Just missed a double there. That would have easily scored 2. So we got 2-1 count here. That is a fly ball. Going back is the left fielder, and that is to the warning track. And that's going to score 2. And DK on his horse, going for 3, and he is in there with a 2 RBI triple as he drives one over the left field's head into the warning track. And that will give your Sioux Falls Christian Chargers a 3-0 lead.
24,
So that's going to bring up Jake Humpel, and we're going to get a courtesy runner for the catcher, and that's going to be number 1. That's going to be Liam Butzman coming in.
courtesy run for the catcher, number 1, Liam Bushman.
So that'll bring up Jake here. Nobody out here in the first. Jake, who had a big triple against Hanson the other night to tie the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. As Brooks Clapp walked that game off, scoring Jake. As that ball sails high. Oh, ball gets away from the catcher. In comes Liam, and he is safe. And that will give your Chargers a 4-0 lead. As the first 4 batters have come up, and the first 4 batters have scored. And Jake looking to continue another rally here. And that ball misses outside. So Jake way ahead here, 3-0. And that's in there for strike 1. Trey Pater on deck. Chopper to short. Gloved in between the shortstop and the third baseman, and that gets away. Both of them went for it, and neither of them made it. And I got to believe that's going to be a hit, because that's kind of one of those tweeners in between the two. And we'll get a courtesy runner for the pitcher. As Brooks Clapp's going to come in and run for Jake. So that'll bring up Trey Pater here.
Courtesy running for the pitcher, number 7, Brooks Clapp.
Will in the on-deck circle. Runner goes. And called strike 1. No throw down. Here's the 0-1. Misses outside. Evens the count at 1-1. Ball 2 as that misses badly outside. So Trey ahead here, 2-1. Nobody out still in the first. Swing and a miss. Oh, Trey's not happy with himself. That was a bad swing. Probably really would like to have that one back. That is golf. That is back, and that is into the net. So we'll do 2-2 again. Here's a ground ball down the line, and that is fair. And that is going to be Trey going for two. Digging. Here comes the relay, and Trey is going to be safe with a double, and that scores another run. And your Chargers now lead 5-0. So that's going to bring up Will here with nobody out, the runner on second, and your Chargers already with a 5-run lead. Ball gets away from the catcher, and Trey didn't see it in time and stays at second. His ball 1 to Will. Ooh, that sails over his head. So Will way ahead here, 2-0. Misses way outside. Trey's going to advance on that one as that one gets to the backstop. So Will ahead here, 3-0. With Jackson McCulley on deck. Swing and a miss from Will. Here's a 3-1. And that almost hits him. That's a walk, though.
The right fielder, number 21, Jackson McCulley.
So Jackson McCulley now up. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Ball misses inside. Here's the 1-0. That is hammered down the left field line and foul. As Jackson turns on that one, just way ahead. Caden Coulterman on deck. There's a drive. Coming in is the left fielder, and that's going to fall in front of him. And that's going to be a single. And that's going to score Trey Pater. And that'll bring the score to 6-0. Still nobody out here in the first. Here's Caden Coulterman. Swing and a miss. Another swing and a miss. That gets away from the catcher, and everybody's going to move up 90 feet. So Caden behind here 0-2. He does have runners now at second and third. Looking for one, maybe two RBIs here. That ball misses above his eyes. So 1-2 count here. The number 9 hitter for your Chargers. Swing and a miss, and that ball gets away from the catcher. Throw down to first. Ball gets away, and that's up the line. And everybody's going to be safe. So that's the second strikeout of this first inning. And no outs. As both runners that have struck out have advanced to first as the ball has been dropped by the catcher. So that loads the bases. for Tate Connell here. And that ball gets away from the catcher. And Coach Gorsett just holding all of his runners right now. Ball misses outside. Hayden Gorsett in the on-deck circle. Tate waits on that curveball and swings over top of it. So that'll bring the count 2-1. Oh, and another one he waits on, and that's evens the count here at 2-2. Tate tried to put one to the football field and left. Ball bounces in there. So full count now to Tate. Way outside, and that ball gets away, and that will be a walk. And that will bring in the 7th run for your Chargers. And catcher's going to go out and have a conversation with his pitcher, as we've seen several balls go to that backstop. A couple balls come rolling in as Hayden Gorsett picks them up and hands them to the umpire. All right, so 7-0 here with your Chargers leading the first. Still nobody out, as they've already batted around as Tate Connell's on first base for the second time. And that ball misses outside here to Hayden for ball 1. So Hayden ahead here, 2-0. Ball bounces in there, way inside. So Hayden ahead here, 3-0. And that's some back-to-back walks. And that will bring in the 8th run. And that's going to bring out a visit from the Parker coach. All right, after a brief meeting on the mound, Pete Sam's going to step in here with bases loaded and nobody out. Your Chargers lead 8-0. Oh, good stop by the catcher. Is that he had to jump to grab that one? So Pete ahead here, 1-0. There's a ground ball to the second baseman. Gloves, throws to second, and he drops it, but it's got to be... Oh, they're going to call him safe. Man, I thought that was on a transfer. I really thought he should have been out at second. It was on a transfer. He was trying to throw to first, but he's going to ask for the help from the home plate umpire. Either way, it's going to score at least one run. And the runner is out. That is on the transfer, so... So that's the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up DK here with runners on the corners. Ball, it's a 9-0 game. Open up the strike zone. I'm totally okay with that. Is that ball? It's called strike one. There's a chopper foul. So DK behind here, 0-2. Ball misses inside. Here's the 1-2. There's a ground ball up the middle. Glove by the shortstop. Steps on 2 and pulls the first baseman off the line. So that's an RBI ground out from DK. And a forced play at second. So that'll bring up Jake. And we're going to get a courtesy runner for catch out at first. And that's going to bring out Liam again.
Courtesy running for the catcher number 1, Liam Bootman.
So here's 2 out. There's a pitch to Jake. He fouls that back and out of play.
Please return all foul balls to the contestant stands for a nice treat. Thank you. Jake grounded to short, gloved, throws over to first, and is dropped by the first baseman. And Jake is going to be safe. The designated hitter number 3, Trey Taylor.
As the first baseman had an ejecto mitt on that throw. It was a good throw by the shortstop as he gloved and throwed over. So that'll bring up Trey Pater with runners on first and second and still 2 out. Ball misses outside. Oh, tried to turn on that one, and that is strike 1 on Trey. The ball gets away from the pitcher. Runners don't advance. There's a ground ball, just missed the line. That's foul. As Trey was trying to rip another one down the line. As he doubled in his first at bat of this inning. So Trey behind here, 1-2. That's a foul tip. Oh, catcher could not hold on to it, so we'll do 1-2 again. Ball misses way outside, so that'll even the count here at 2-2. There's a ground ball back up the middle. glove by the shortstop, throw over to first, and that will do it. But your Chargers put up a 10 spot on 9 hits here in the first. And we'll head to the top of the second with your Chargers leading 10-0. So Jake strikes out the leadoff hitter here in the first, or in the second.
From left fielder, number 20, Logan Gillespie.
So 1 out here in the top of the second. Jake misses outside here for ball 1. And way outside for ball 2. A bunch of defensive changes for your Chargers. Ooh. Jake just keeps going further outside. So he's behind here 3-0. Looks like we got Liam in at third. That's in there for strike 1. Caden's still at second. Cannot see who's at short. It might be Brooks. That's in there for strike 2. Pete Samp's still at first, though. And that ball misses high, so that is a 1-out walk.
Center fielder, number 11, Riley Webster.
So that'll bring up number 11 for the Pheasants. There's ball 1. Jake went to sit a long time after a quick first inning. And that's in there for strike one. Maybe just trying to shake off a little bit of those cobwebs from sitting for probably about 20 minutes. That ball misses high. Jake rocks and fires. That is strike number 2. So evens the count here at 2-2. And that's a swing and a miss, and that is the second strikeout of the inning for Jake Humpel.
The pitcher, number 21, Boston Knutson.
So that'll bring up Jake's counterpart here, number 21. Whoa. That is way outside and way off the plate. All right, so Jake behind here 1-0. And that just missed, but that's ball 2. Here's the 2-0. And that is a shot. That is a base hit to right. Gloved by Jackson, and the runner's going to take third as he kind of bobbled a little bit. So there'll be runners on the corners with 2 outs. So that'll bring up number 26. Because that was a good piece of hitting by the Pheasants pitchers. He just took that one the other way. That apparently missed inside. So Jake having to work a little bit here in the second. And that misses high and outside. So he behind here 2-0. In there for strike 1. Swing and a miss. So evens the count here at 2-2. 2 out. Runners on the corners. Ooh, foul back. Ooh, off the brick and caught by DK. So we'll do 2-2 again. This is high inside. The runner at first kind of just taking a big walking lead. And that is strike number 3. So 3 strikeouts alternated between a walk and a single. And that will do it. So we'll head to the bottom of the second with your Chargers leading 10-0. right, so we got a new pitcher in for the Pheasants. So Will going to lead off here in the second. And that's a curveball in there for strike one. There's a drive down the left field line coming in, and that's going to fall in front of the left fielder. And that is going to be a leadoff single for Will Foch.
Number 21, Jackson McCulley.
I'll bring up Jackson McCulley here. This is the 10th hit of the day for your Chargers. And that ball misses high. Caden Colchman on deck. And that ball sails high. So number 11 for the Pheasants, quickly behind here, 2-0 to Jackson McCulley. Time called, and that's going to be a balk called. And so the umpire's going to come in and kind of tell him what he did wrong there. So we've got a runner on second now after the balk. Count is 2-0. In there for strike one on the expanded zone. And that is swung through by Jackson. And that's going to even the count here at 2-2. There's a off his glove. Oh, fielded by the second baseman. Throw over to first. A little bit high, but gloved. And that is going to be the first out of the second inning. As Will moves up 90 feet to third. And I'll bring up Caden Colgerman here. With one out and a runner on third. And he looks at a strike over the inside part of the plate. There's a grow off the third baseman. That's going to be a fair ball, and is a tough play on that one hopper. And that is going to be a RBI single for Caden Colgerman. And that'll be the 11th run for your Chargers. So that'll bring up Tate Connell here. Runner goes and steals second easily. And Coach Gorsett tells him to calm with his hands out, tell him, hey, settle down. We're up 11-0. Let's not be stealing bases. That's in there for strike one to Tate. I don't blame Tate for looking back at him. Here's the 1-1. Ball missed high. Tate fouls one back to even the count here at 2-2.
Just a reminder, fans, please return all foul balls to the contestant table. Thank you.
And Tate is going to be down on strikes
Number 1.
as he looks at a curveball on the outside part of the plate. So Liam going to come in here and bat for Hayden Gorsett. Yeah, he looks at strike one on the outside part of the plate. Ooh, that is behind him. Foul back into the netting. So Liam behind here 1-2 with Pete on deck. There's a ground ball to third. That's foul. Just foul. Liam just got ahead of that one, as that was less than 6 inches from being fair. That sails over his head to even the count at 2-2. Ball misses low, gets away from the catcher, no advancement from Caden. So full count now here to Liam. 2 out here in the second. Foul ball gets away, and this is going to be the third strikeout where a runner reaches safe.
The first baseman, number 20, Sam.
So that'll bring up Pete here with runners on the corners and 2 out. There's a line drive into the gap, and that'll bring in one. Caden or Liam on his horse, and he's makes it to third. So Pete with an RBI single makes it 12-0.
Number 22, Abbott Moeller.
And that is going to bring Abbott Moeller up, who's going to bat for DK. So runners on the corners, 2 out. 2 runs already in here in the second. And Abbott looks at one outside here for ball 1. Misses outside, ball 2. Jake Humple in the on-deck circle. Ooh, that ball misses badly. Way above Abbott's head. So Abbott way ahead here, 3-0. That ball misses outside, so that's a 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Jake Humple here with the bases loaded and 2 out here in the bottom of the second.
The pitcher, number 24, Jake Humble.
And we're going to get pitch runner as Abbott's doing the catching. That's going to bring out. So Zach Lefevre going to run for Abbott Moeller after the walk. And Jake looks at strike 1. Ball misses inside, evens the count at 1-1 as Jake slides out of the way of that ball. Ooh, sails way high. So Jake ahead here 2-1. There is no wind to speak of right now as that flag is standing dead still out there in left field. And Jake's going to take strike 2 at the belt. So 2-2's the count. Jake drives one into right, going back as the right fielder. That's over his head. That's going to be extra bases for Jake. That's going to clear the bases. No. Coach Corset's going to hold him at second. So that is going to be a 2 RBI double for Jake Humple. And that will extend your Chargers lead here to 14-0. Zach Vandehar is going to come in here and hit for Trey Pater. Coach Corset discussing the changes here with the home plate umpire. As Will is in the on-deck circle.
Now batting for the Chargers, number 16, and Zach Vanderhaar.
Zach takes strike 1 over the outside part of the plate. Oh, he ducks out of the way of that one. So count here 1-1. Will on deck. That ball bounces in there, gets away from the catcher. And the runners just hold where they are currently at. That's in there for strike 2. So 2-2 count here, 2 out. 4 runs already plated here in the second. There's a ground ball foul. So we will do 2-2 again. Ball bounces in there, bounces away. No movement from the runners. Coach Corset's going to hold everybody here with your Chargers currently up 14 runs here in the second. That is a pop fly. Underneath it is the shortstop, and that'll do it for your Chargers in the second. But they add 4 more runs to their lead, and they lead 14-0 as we head to the top of the third. All right, Abbott Moeller going to come in relief for Jake Humble. Grounder fielded by Abbott, flips over to Jake, who is taking over at first base, and that's 1 pitch, 1 out.
Number 7, the center fielder, Caleb Christensen.
And, ooh, looked pretty good. That was inside for ball 1. That looked like the exact same pitch, but that one's called a strike. So evens the count here at 1-1 as we play the top of the third. Abbott misses way outside. So 2-1 count here. Swing and a miss. So 2-2 count here at number 7 for Parker. Oh, that was a good curveball. As I guess it missed inside. That looked pretty good. So here's the full count. And that is in there down the pipe for strike number 3. And that's Abbott Moeller's first strikeout of the year. And that'll bring up number 5 here. That's popped up. Coming in is Tate, and he reaches up and makes the grab. So a very efficient inning for Abbott Moeller as he throws 8 pitches to get 3 outs, and we'll head to the bottom of the third with your Chargers needing 1 run to end this game.
Leading off for the Chargers, number 7, the shortstop, Brooks Platt.
So Brooks going to come in here and bat for Will to lead off the third. And then Jackson McCulley in the on-deck circle. Looks at a ball low. Ooh, now that's the expanded strike zone when you're up 14-0. It's a 1-1 count here to Brooks. Ooh, foul tips that and held on to by the catcher, and that is strike number 2. That ball misses low. So evens the count here at 2-2. Jackson McCulley on deck. That ball misses low. So full count now. And that bounces in there, and that is a leadoff walk.
The right fielder, number 21, Jackson McCulley.
So that'll bring up Jackson. Jackson, who has a big bowling tournament tomorrow in Decorah, Iowa. Swing and a miss, and that bounces away from the catcher. Decorah, Iowa, home to one of my favorite breweries in Toppling and Goliath. So hopefully Phil McCauley has some time in between bowling games to partake in all Decorah has to offer. That ball misses high. That's going to even the count here at 1-1. As Caden Coulterman is in the on-deck circle. There's a ground ball to third baseman, gloved, throw over, and bounces in there and gets away from the first baseman. And that is going to be another error for the Pheasants.
Second baseman, number 13, Caden Coulterman.
So that'll bring up Caden here with 2 on and nobody out. And your Chargers will run away from this game being over. That ball just missed hitting him. Looks at strike number 1. So that evens the count here at 1-1. Tate Connell on deck. And that curveball's in there on the inside part of the plate for strike number 2. There's a ground ball to third, foul. Oh, and we just lost the scoreboard. So 1-2 count here. Your Chargers leading 14-0. Nobody out here in the third. No, it's back on. There's a fly ball into right center. And that's going to fall in between the center fielder and the right fielder. And that is going to be a single for Caden Coulterman. And that's going to load the bases here for Tate Connell. And the coach is going to come out and have a conversation here with his pitcher. And Coach Gorset's going to have a conversation with Tate Connell. So long meeting on the mound here for the Pheasants. All right, and we are ready to go. Infield plane in. Tate looks at strike one. Tate takes one high. So evens the count here at 1-1. Ooh, just missed Tate, who was well behind Pete in the hit by pitch category. So here's the 2-1. That ball misses low. So 3-1 here to Tate Connell. That ball misses inside, and that is going to be a walk. And that is going to do it, as this game will end here in a 15-0.
After the walk, that ends the game.
So that will do it here from Ronkin Field. A quick game here as your Chargers easily defeat the Parker Pheasants 15-0 in 3 innings. Your Chargers are back in action on Tuesday as they'll play at Needles Field in Humboldt against West Central. And then we're back here at Ronkin Field on Wednesday as your Chargers will take on Tri-Valley. So until Tuesday, I am signing off. Everybody have a great weekend.